Hi everyone, I'm Cassandra Thompson, your career consultant, and today we are talking about a topic very near and dear to my heart, and that is how to thrive when unemployed. And I am going to give you my 3 top tips to survive and thrive in unemployment. So this comes from my own unemployment stints. I have been unemployed twice for couple month periods, 6-month periods, something around there. One time I did it awesome. One time it was great. The other time I wore the same pair of pajamas 3 days in a row and had to question, did I shower or did I go outside today? And so from that, I have really learned what makes you succeed and get to the next job in unemployment and what just becomes a hole. Step number 1. Get dressed. As I mentioned, the second time I would stay in my pajamas. Nope, you are still going to get ready as if you were headed out the door somewhere. Getting dressed just makes us feel more confident. I'm not saying you have to put a suit on every day to run to the grocery store. That'd be weird. But don't stay in your pajamas. Don't stay in leggings or yoga pants every day. You've got to get dressed. And by dressed, I mean ready altogether. So wash your face, comb your hair, do your hair, put on a little bit of makeup if that's something you're into. I think it's worth it. You're just going to feel better. You feel like a part of society. It's important. So step 1, get dressed. Step 2, find an office. You got to find someplace you got to go. So when I say an office, I don't mean it has to be an actual office spot. You don't need to go to some office park and say, can I rent this space? But can you afford a desk at a co-working space? Or can you go to a coffee shop or the library? The time I really thrived when unemployed, I had decided to make this Starbucks that I really liked my office. First off, I saw a bunch of celebrities there, so that made it super fun. But I just decided that every morning at 9 a.m. I had to be there, and I'd bring my laptop, and I would, look for jobs and stuff like that while sitting there. But it gave me a place to be, and I met other people there, especially in LA. Everyone is a screenwriter and hanging out at a coffee shop. So I would see the same people every day, and I knew my baristas, and we'd say hi. And once again, it made me feel like a member of society. So it's so important. Find your office. Now, it doesn't have to cost money. I was in a position where when I first became unemployed, I thought, well, while I still have the cash, I'm going to put $100 on a Starbucks gift card, and I would go in and order a tall iced coffee. That's it, as cheap as it could get, just to kind of keep my place every day. But I had a client who realized a great option is the beautiful mall in her area. She has a great outdoor mall, so there's plenty of seating. In LA, there's now a mall in Century City that's beautiful, and they want people to hang out, and they have co-working spaces just kind of around. So maybe it's a mall in your area, maybe it's a library. It doesn't have to cost money. But if a Starbucks is your bag or the coffee shop, use that. But something that gets you out of the house. And then third, create a routine for yourself. It does not have to be a giant routine. You do not have to have every moment of the day scheduled out. But know your morning routine. Do you get up? Do you have quiet time or meditate and then get ready and then eat breakfast? Maybe because it's this season of unemployment that you've never had before, you want to kind of enjoy it. Maybe you do watch 2 hours of the Today Show before getting ready. I don't care, but I want you to have a routine. So for me, part of my routine was going to a Pilates place down the street and heading to that Starbucks. It gave me some points in my day to think about. Maybe part of your routine is walking your dog every afternoon, or you decide that you're not going to bulk grocery shop anymore. You're going to do it the European way and stop by the grocery store every night and pick up what you need for the day so that you feel like you got out. Whatever it is for you, find a routine and stick to it. So these are 3 steps that I think will really help you start thriving while unemployed. If you have tricks for unemployment, please leave them in the comment section below. I would love to hear what other people do. And if you'd like to hear more of my advice on this topic, I actually wrote an article for HuffPo. I will link to it in the description box below. And today I'm going to give you my other 3 tips. Okay, so tip number 1 for these additional 3, so this is really tip 4, is learn something. Now, I want you to be looking at job descriptions, which you probably are because you're applying for jobs. I know that. I don't need to tell you that part. That advice is not going to be on this video because, of course, you're applying for jobs. You already know to do that. But I want you to learn something. Use this time well. So you're looking at those job descriptions. Do you need Photoshop and you don't know how to use Photoshop? Do you need to have excellent presentation skills and not fear public speaking? What can you learn during this time? So if it's public speaking, maybe we join Toastmasters. If it's Photoshop, maybe we go on lynda.com or Udemy or watch 8,000 YouTube videos for free so that we know how to use Photoshop. You can figure it out. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money. I'm not saying you have to buy some crazy expensive online course. I'm saying start learning a skill. Now, it doesn't even have to be job related. Maybe you've just always wanted to learn Italian. Learn it. It's so great to use this time to kind of enrich your life in some way. So either do something towards the job you want or do that thing you've always wanted to do but just didn't have the time for, and do it in the most cost-effective way possible. But learning a new skill is going to keep your brain going. It's going to keep you intellectually stimulated and keep you moving. Just learning something new challenges us in a different way, and that will help you stay motivated and excited and ready to keep applying for those jobs. Okay, the next step, start meeting people. Now, between last week's video and this one, it took till step 5 to say you've got a network. But I want you to go meet people. Meet people for coffee, meet people for lunch, meet people for a walk in the park, meet people over Skype. Yes, coffees and lunches cost money, so use those sparingly or in the way you want, but go meet people. And it doesn't even have to be for networking. Start with friends. You know, do you get to see where your friends work when you're working? Not really. So tell them you'll come meet them for lunch, or tell them, hey, I'll bring you a coffee. Do you have a half hour free? Talk to them about what you're looking for. Let them know that you're searching. Let them know to keep you in mind if anything comes up. And if you do this enough, this is how your next job will come. I guarantee it. It is so much better than applying online all day long. So start meeting people. Also, going with some of the tips from last week, this is another one that is going to make you feel like a member of society, like an upstanding, productive member of society. So get out there and meet people so that you feel like you are part of that ongoing world around us. And then lastly, keep having a life. So this one sounds strange. If you're not unemployed, you're like, what does she mean by that? If you're unemployed, you know exactly what I mean. When you're unemployed, it's really hard to gear up to go to the party or to go to the softball team practice or whatever those normal things in your life were. After a while, it's just easier to stay inside because that's all you've done. And this is why we're going to get out of the house. So I want you to keep having a life, even though it might be hard to go to Sam's birthday party on Friday night and have to talk to people in a group about how you're looking for work. You got to get past that. It's just going to make life better. And to add to that routine that we talked about in the last video, keep any of those things that made your life whole. So if you were on the community softball league, stay on the community softball league. If you go to Bible study on Tuesday nights or Wednesday nights, because they're all on Wednesday nights, keep going to Bible study. See your friends for lunch on Saturday mornings or coffees. Whatever those things are that you normally do, keep doing them. If you don't, your unemployment defines you. I know this from experience because I've done it twice. So keep going. Keep up those parts of your life that make you you. And I promise it'll help keep you motivated to apply for those jobs. It'll help because you'll start meeting different people. And one of those will be the gateway to the new career. So to recap, we are going to learn something new, be it a new language, a new software program, some kind of new skill, job related or not, something we're interested in. We are going to start meeting people. Start with your friends and family and branch out from there, asking people to coffee, hearing about their jobs and what they do so that you have more opportunities for a new career. And then lastly, we are going to keep having a life. So you are going to keep up with those weekly activities that you do with friends and family. You're going to go to the birthday party. You're going to go to the wedding. We are not going to stay at home in our pajamas. We are going to be a functioning member of society. And I promise with these steps, you will thrive in unemployment and you will get through it faster because we will just be steps closer to getting that next job. There are a lot of ways you can get a job. You can apply online through LinkedIn, Indeed. You can network with people, but there is one way that is better than all the rest to guarantee you get a job you love. Let's talk about it. Now, before I get into it, disclaimer alert. This is a long game play. I know a lot of you watching are like, but I need a job now. I want you to know this is not something that's going to come tomorrow, but you can take steps to getting a job you love in the best way possible. But I just want you to know, long game. What's the absolute best way to get a job you love? You make the employer come to you. Now, this is not a recruiter finding you on LinkedIn. That's awesome. But I'm talking about setting yourself up in a way that when a position opens, the hiring manager for that department, the CEO of that company, whoever is high level, goes, you know who should do that? It should be Cassandra. Insert your name where I said Cassandra. Here's why this is really cool, is because you can read job descriptions and think you'll like the job, but you're not quite sure. And there are plenty of people who go for jobs and they realize, I'm kind of bored here. I don't know. I was talking to someone the other day interviewing for a job that she thinks she wants, but the job description told her so little that she had all these questions of, what about this thing? And what about that thing? And will I have to do that? And those answers would change whether she wants the job or not. And there might not be enough time in an interview to find that out. But if you get to a point where the company knows you, you will have had so many conversations around the job or what they do that you know you will like that job. So here, we're going to get into real tips, I promise. Here are the tips to help you get the company to come to you. Okay, once again, to do this, you have to put in the work, but the number one thing you need to do is know your focus. What is it that you want to be known for, that you want to be so known for that people are coming to you? A lot of the times the problem is that we go, well, I like this thing, and I like that thing, and I like that thing. And trust me, I am a multi-passionate too. I have a beauty channel that proves that. But we have to focus and go all in on something. So choose that thing that you want to get hired for. Is it marketing? Is it to be the best accountant ever? Is it strategy? I don't know. Is it being the best earring maker? Who knows? But go all in on that thing. Get focused on what it is you want. Number 2, be awesome at that thing. You need to make sure you are really, really good at that job that you want. So focus in on the key 2 to 3 skills for that job. You know, if you need to do some extra work, take a LinkedIn learning class or a Skillshare or a class at a community college. Make sure you are leveling up your game on that thing you want to be known for. Number 3, one that is often overlooked. Be awesome at the job you have now. Your work in your current job is going to speak for what you do in the future. Even if it's a major career pivot, please remember your boss and coworkers are your references. So be awesome at what you do. Whether it is in the field or out of the field of where you want to go, make sure you are doing awesome at your current job. All right, number 4. Meet the key players where you want to be. So that needs to be the head of the department you want to work in. anyone in upper level management. So the CEO, the VPs, any executive, it doesn't matter. You want people in the company knowing you. And this is where it's a long-term play. I'm not saying you've connected on LinkedIn. I'm not saying you've liked a post of theirs. I'm saying you've built the relationship to the point where you are sending them birthday cards, where you guys have gone to coffee, where they know about you. And when they see you at an event, you both look at each other and go, oh, hi, it's so great to see you. And you chat more. You need to be in with them, that they know really who you are. And then we'll get to the next tip right now. Okay, so we said they know who you are. Tip number 5, they need to know what you do and that you want to do it for them. Oh my gosh, sounds revolutionary, doesn't it? But it's shocking how many times we think people should just intuitively know what we want. It's not real. This is why couples get in fights all the time, right? Because the woman goes, oh, well, I just wanted you to know that I wanted a romantic dinner for Valentine's Day. And the husband's like, what are you talking about? Or vice versa. Women do it too. Don't at me for like sexism. So we don't always know what other people want. So why do you assume this person knows you want to work for them? Now, we don't beg for a job. We don't ask this right off the bat. But once you've built that relationship, make sure you're talking about your work, fluidly in conversation, and make sure you drop to them. If anything ever opens up at your company, I would love to work in your marketing department or your accounting department, or make up your own job, for crying out loud. Say, if you ever want somebody to do blah, blah, blah for you, I would love to be that person. Just drop it. Doesn't mean something's available right now, but now they're going to click and go, oh, okay, that's really good to know. And then something can happen down the road. Then they will come to you and say, hey, guess what? We thought about it and we'd really love you to come in and do blah, blah, blah. Or, hey, guess what? This position just opened and we were talking and we were like, oh, we should call Cassandra. That sort of thing happens. I have friends who have done this. So make sure you are taking these steps, play the long game to get to the job you really want and make that employer come to you. So you got laid off. It sucks. Let's talk about how to deal. I'm Cassandra, and I help motivated professionals build their careers and businesses through practical tips to gain career confidence. So let's talk about if you get laid off. First thing I want you to do is take a breath. You have every right to sit on the couch and binge a little bit of Netflix. Tiger King it up. You can take a minute. You don't have to jump on job boards and LinkedIn immediately. Take a minute and process what just happened. As the kids these days say, feel your feelings, all right? Take a second and then get started on finding that next job. So the first step in that piece, I want you to journal. No, seriously, we're not hitting apply on LinkedIn yet. We need to journal some things out. This could be a major blessing because you have time in this laid off period to really evaluate, what did you like about your job? What did you not like about your job? What do you wish you could have done? Is there an industry you always wanted to get into or a different type of position? This might be the time to make that pivot. So start journaling all your thoughts and feelings on your last position and what you've always dreamed of doing. I would also suggest figuring out at this point, how much money do you need to survive? Do you have money in savings that can last you 6 months, 8 months, a month? Figure that part out because that'll help us figure out, do we need to go get a job real fast or do we have some time to kind of work on some things, develop some skills, build some relationships? And if you need the job fast, we'll talk about that at the end. So now it's time to get online and let everybody you've ever met know you are looking. You should email people you know and say, hey, this is what happened. I ended up getting laid off. If you hear of anything in the food marketing industry, please let me know. Or, hey, I got laid off, but I'm really seeing this as a gift because I have always wanted to go into the music industry and I figured now's the time. I'm just putting it out there. If you know of anybody in that industry, I would love to talk to them. Put out there to people that you are looking. Hit everybody up. Post it on LinkedIn. We don't want you posting that sort of thing every week, but to put one announcement saying, this is what I'm going through, this is what happened to me, if you know of anything in this area, let me know, is totally fine. So you have to make sure people know what you're looking for. That's the key to doing this. Do not just say, hey everyone, I got laid off and I'm looking for a new job, so if you know of any opportunities, let me know. When you say something like that, I can't help you. I don't know where to put you. What are you looking for? Interestingly, if you give somebody a topic and they kind of have to put you in a box, they now have no problem thinking outside of that. But you have to give them something to compare to. Here's what I mean. If you come to me and say, hey, I got laid off, I'm looking for any opportunities, if you hear of anything, let me know. I'd be like, okay, but I don't know what you do. If you come to me instead and say, hey, I got laid off, I'm really looking for something in marketing, my background is in the food industry, but I'm open, please let me know. I then can go, oh, okay, well, I'll write you back and say, I don't know anybody in food marketing, but I have some friends who have been doing marketing in the tech space. I'd be happy to introduce you. It helps the person see what you work through and then find the comparison, the other slight avenue, things like that. So you have to give them somewhere to start from. Then I want you to get on LinkedIn every single day. You need to be on that platform sharing, commenting, liking people's posts, and posting your own information. Become a part of the conversation because people hire people they know. They don't have to know them well. You don't have to be their best friend, but this is a great opportunity to start networking and getting to know new people. And then hone in on the 5 or 10 companies you really want to work for. So we've already put it out to our network we're looking. We have them kind of working for us, thinking about opportunities. But while that's going on, you can now go, if I could work anywhere in my town or in my commuting area, I would want to work here, 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 and here. Great. Focus on those companies and start trying to meet as many people in those companies as possible. Follow up with people and say, you know what, my dream company is this one. If you know of anyone who works there, I would love to speak with them. Find people on your alumni page for your school on LinkedIn and connect with those who work at your dream company. Now, I'm not going to get into the alumni page here because I filmed a whole video about it, so I'll put a link to it in the end screen and also in the description box below, but use that alumni tool to your advantage. And then while you are networking and applying and talking to more and more people and asking for the virtual coffee, I also want you to think about what skill could you level up on. So you can use this time to go on LinkedIn Learning, Coursera, Skillshare. Find a course that will help you look stronger as a candidate in the interview process, in the application process. Now, I do really recommend LinkedIn Learning. They're not paying me to say this. I just like them because if you finish their courses, you get a certificate and it shows up on your profile and you can put it on your resume as well. So it's kind of a nice bonus. So one last thing, don't take a job just to take a job. Here's what I mean by this. You have this opportunity to find something that you'll really enjoy doing. We don't want to hop from the frying pan into the fire. That's how that phrase goes, right? The only thing worse than being unemployed is having a job you hate. This comes from experience. So don't take something just because, oh, it's got good pay and benefits, but I think I'd be bored every day and Glassdoor has told me they treat people like crap. Like, that's not the way to go. Use this time to find a job you would really enjoy. Now, before you turn me off at this point, because I know I've now angered some of you and you're like, ugh, you do not get my situation. I highly recommend going and getting an hourly job. This might be the time we have to humble ourselves a little bit. Maybe we're not getting that full-time salary, benefits, 401k, working in some cushy office. Maybe we're working at Costco or Whole Foods or Trader Joe's. It's going to be much easier to leave one of those jobs, but it can add some supplemental income while we are waiting to get that full-time job. Couple of things on this. It's much easier to find a job when you already have a job, not just because you look good to recruiters, but because having the sense of purpose and somewhere to go every day makes us feel better about ourselves. We can get into if work should identify us or not in a different video, but it's just the plain truth that when we know we are contributing to society in some way, we feel better. It's going to be easier to apply. On the flip side, you also might hate that job so much that it's nice motivation to make you want to get out. But honestly, right now, it's really interesting. If you're watching this video like when it came out, those companies I just mentioned, Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, Costco, all three of those companies are ranked some of the best places to work in the US. And they're actually extremely competitive to get jobs at. So the fact that you could get into one of those companies pretty easily right now might be a nice cushion while we wait to find that corporate gig again. Or who knows, maybe you love it there and you work your way into corporate for one of those companies. So just keep that in mind. If you need something to supplement till we find the dream job, maybe hourly is the way to go. I hope this video has been helpful. Like I said, take a breath, journal, go meet people, let everyone you know that you're looking, revisit those friends that you haven't talked to in a while, level up a skill, get on LinkedIn, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. What's your work view? What's your life view? These are two questions you really need to ask yourself before looking for your next job. So to learn more about them, why they're important, and the even deeper questions within to ask, keep watching. So my name is Cassandra, and I help motivated professionals build their careers and businesses through practical tips to gain career confidence. And today, I really want to talk about these two kind of broad questions you need to ask before job searching. They came from a book I love called Designing Your Life, and it is kind of my favorite book if you are trying to figure out what the heck you want to do. So if you are in the place of, I know I don't like what I'm doing right now, but I don't know what I want to do instead, I really do recommend you pick up this book and a workbook, and they'll be in the description box below. But the way it starts off is you need to think about what is your view of work and what is your view of life, and how do those two things integrate? Are they coherent? Is there any consistency between them? So what I recommend is get out a piece of paper, a notebook, a pen. Let's do some journaling with these next questions. Now, I'm gonna go through these questions. Feel free to hit pause and take 15, 20 minutes and just journal out your answers to one, and then come back, hit play, journal out your answers to the next set, and then come back and meet me again at the end. Or you can just listen to the whole thing all the way through and then watch it again. That's fine too, and it really helps the algorithm. Okay, so first, your life view. This is essentially how you see life. So these are the questions you need to ask yourself. What is the purpose or meaning of life to you? I know, we got deep real fast. What do you believe is the relationship between you and other individuals? Do you believe in God or a higher power? And what is the purpose of Him in your life, right? Like, what does that mean? How does that affect life? Where do country, family, and the rest of the world fit into life? What is the role of good and evil in life? And then what about sorrow, joy, justice, peace, etc.? How do those things fit into life? Y'all, these are really important questions, and I think a lot of times we get so busy in our world that we don't take the time to pause and really reflect on kind of the core of who we are and the core of what we believe. So take some time and really think through your answers, journal them out, because when they're in our head, they're just swirling around. When we get them on paper, we can focus. So journal them out, and then let's talk work view. Okay, so work view. Work view is how you see work. So get the pen ready. Here are the questions. Do we even take time to think about this? Really, why do you work? Is it just about money? Is it about fulfillment? Write down why you work. What defines worthwhile work? What do experience, growth, and fulfillment have to do with work? And how do you define fulfillment? And how do you define success? What does money have to do with work? And then how does work relate to family, society, others? So hopefully now you've journaled your answers to both. Once again, 15 to 20 minutes thinking through each topic. And now's the fun part. Now we need to look at, are they coherent? Where do your two views come together? And where do they maybe clash? And it's okay if you realize like, ooh, these really clash. Good. This is why we do this assessment, right? Why we kind of journal this out to see, wow, maybe my life view isn't what I thought my life view was, or maybe my view of work needs to change because of how I view life. The reason this is so important is because sometimes we go for jobs that do not fit into our life, right? And instead of trying to find a job you love and then creating a life around it, we want a job that integrates into the type of life we want. Hence the name of the book, Designing Your Life, and not just designing a job. So if you see disconnects, don't be worried. You might need to go back and revise your life view or your work view based on kind of the truth that was shown to you. But hopefully through looking at them, you can kind of get a view of what they call your one true north, or really we could just call it a direction. This should give you a direction to go in. Maybe because of your life view, you learn, I don't need a six-figure job, or maybe you realize, I want a job where I can still see my family regularly and be home for family dinners. Okay, that's going to give us some direction on the types of jobs we go for. Or maybe you have a defining way of work needs to help other people and what help looks like. So that's going to help you look at a specific type of job. You know, these sorts of things just start putting us on a road towards what we want to do. But you don't want to go pick a job just based off skill or wealth level or status and find out it has no consistency or coherency with your life. So that's why we start with this life view and work view. So I hope this was helpful. If you need more help in figuring out what you want to do, like I said, I really recommend Designing Your Life, and I recommend the workbook as well. So those are both in the description box below. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.